welcome back to the show. I never thought that I'd see the day that George Stroumboulopoulos would be dressed like Michael Eckford and
really
not
close.
the other way around.
It's funny because I started following this morning at about 5 a.m. and I saw what he was wearing and I thought, good look, George Stroumboulopoulos. And so there we go.
Well, as soon as I sat down, I was like, oh God, we should have planned this better. We really should have. Nice to see you
New
again.
look for you, new look for the
How are you,
show.
buddy?
Congratulations, the show's looking awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with it. You know?
You guys made a big decision. Was it September that you guys cut the show down to half
we
an hour?
made the choice in January, February. Last January, February, we were nearing the end of our 6th season, or midway through the 6th season. I kind of knew it was time to just change it up. And so did Jen, who's Jen Denton, the production executive.
Yeah.
You know, when you do a show long enough, and you guys are good at this, you reinvent. Or at least
We've been doing this for 14 years the same way, George.
No, it hasn't. I've been on it a lot. For example, different couch.
Yeah, that's our big...
But difficult decision, of course, being called The Hour. You guys are not.
Oh, dude, no, it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare to go through the behind the scenes in your mind of what's going to happen when you blow something up.
Yeah.
But you just, the way I figured is that this is not promised to us forever, right? So you do what you have to do for as long as you can. And I just want to kind of die on my own hill on my terms. And I thought, well, why don't we just do it and be brave? And if it works, it works. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. And that's okay.
And it's funny because, obviously it allows you to sit back and assess, what is really important to the show. What is it that people are really engaged by and concentrate on?
Well, and also, the way I work, and every person, I suppose, on TV is different, but the way I work is that I can only do a show if I feel like I could do that show for 5 or 10 years. Not that I have to, but if I feel like it's the kind of show that could sustain.
It's got legs.
Right, and after the, midway through the 6th season, I knew that we'd done everything we could do with the show the way it was, and it would be a good show, but we couldn't really grow it in an intellectually interesting way. We had done that. So I was like, well, I can do the show for another year or two, but then what's the point?
So aside from it being 30 minutes instead of an hour anymore, what are the other big changes that you guys decided to make?
Well, that's the trick. Very little. It's just a different set, obviously a different name, but the initials are GST, which is kind of ridiculous, but kind of awesome. Because thanks to
how did that come about? Did everybody was there a discussion around
it? We called the show George Stroumboulopoulos. I just wanted to call it George Stroumboulopoulos. That was it, right?
Yeah.
And then, they're like, but it needs an action word. I'm like, all right, program. And I know that's not an action word.
That's not a good word.
I know because I know what the option was, which was tonight.
You want it to be George St. Pierre.
Yeah, with GSP. That's way better than GST.
True.
But then, thank God, your premiere totally just end-runned you guys.
HST.
I'm like, Gordon Campbell surprised everybody with an HST, and Dalton McGuinty got us with the HST in Ontario. So hell, HST is the enemy, not GST.
GST was just sitting there for the taking.
It's like, God, we missed the GST. So that's how it became.
I want to talk about something really important, I know for you, which is your Montreal Canadiens, man. Who this year, I don't think anybody, I didn't really see this coming. I knew they had a great playoff run last year, obviously, but they got rid of Halak. And
I was cool with that move, though.
Were you cool with that move?
Yeah, totally, man.
Because they're dominant in the East.
It's so bad. Like, my mother's a fundamentalist Christian, right? So she wakes up in the mornings with hymns in her head, and her entire day is about serving Jesus and hymns and songs. Me, I wake up and all I hear is ole, 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 ole. This is the hardest thing for me in the world is the Habs, because I watch them. I love hockey more than anything, but I don't enjoy watching them because the stress is too much.
Yeah, very stressful.
If they lose, it makes for a bad evening. Like, you don't feel good.
Oh yeah. I watch hockey alone. You know, people gather, it's like a communal event. No, with me, man. Stay away. I'm watching this game.
You're not
tonight.
a Leafs fan, which I am very happy about, but you're from Ontario, so do you get a lot of flack for that? Or?
Yeah, but I like pro hockey, so, you have to make a choose to watch a professional team, and the Leafs just did. I'm just kidding.
Nice day, buddy.
You like getting
It's
flack
okay, we're
sometimes,
Canucks
too.
fans. You can say whatever you want about the Leafs.
I got to be honest with you. I have made fun of the Leafs a lot, but I really have made fun of the Canucks as well. Here's my thing about the Vancouver Canucks.
Whoa.
Not funny.
Really?
Not what?
All I do is every now and then I just keep wearing like a Chicago Blackhawks jersey. It's like
that hurts me.
It's your Lex Luthor, is what it is.
But it is our Lex Luthor. Yeah. I mean, every team's got one, but Chicago, and we're playing them tonight, and I just, I'm already upset.
Here's the thing with the Canucks: if you give up any less than 7 goals, it's an improvement. So you have lots of room to grow.
But the Sedins, you can't deny that they're the best.
I just want to start throwing.
I know, it's terrible.
The best thing about hockey is that friends can become enemies. Right?
It's true.
I like that.
And what are you doing in Vancouver? We haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, so the last time I was here was for the Olympics, and that was the greatest thing I'd ever experienced.
Wasn't
in
it
this
though?
country.
Bananas, huh?
I've never had that. Like, I've had it at a U2 concert for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
But to have a week of it, it was the most beautiful thing that I'd ever seen in this country.
Incredible.
One of my favorite things I think that I saw the entire time was walking down Granville one night and seeing people from all kinds of different ethnic backgrounds. People were playing tablas and singing the Canadian national anthem.
Wearing those Canada shirts.
It was just crazy.
Playing pickup hockey.
I know, on Granville, which is crazy.
know.
What I loved was there was on Granville one day I was watching Kevin Martin, I think, won the gold. There was a gold medal win for curling, for men's curling. And I was eating and we were having a drink one afternoon in a bar on Granville. And as the final rock was thrown, we knew it was the right shot. We just knew. And it occurred to me when everybody was just like, and I looked around and I went, none of you give it. No, you care about curling. But all of a sudden, we were like
the edge of their seats.
Totally.
It was like rhythmic gymnastics back in the day.
And you know
right?
what did it for me? I was out of the country when the opening ceremonies happened, so I watched them on television with a bunch of Canadians at a place in LA. And when I don't know his name, the beat poet, that guy went on.
Yeah.
Sean, I can't remember his last name.
That guy. When he said, and we're not overly sentimental people anyway, my friends and I. We're not overly nostalgic people, but we just kind of went, whatever. We're typical Canadians, so we just kind of, everything is from a distance. And when he said we're an experiment gone right for a change, in that moment, all of my friends, we just kind of went,
I just got,
yeah, he's right.
He's right.
He's right. We are.
Well, and that's the great thing about being Canadian sometimes. There's an accidental aspect to the whole thing that everyone's kind of surprised by.
I loved it. So I hadn't been here since then, so I came back.
And this morning, you guys at the CBC were doing something great for the food bank.
Yeah, it was Food Bank Day, and obviously in British Columbia. And then CBC, quite wisely, had their open house on the same day. I love the open house in Toronto because, you know, it's like what you guys do really well. You can see people, you meet people all the time, right?
Sparky new building down there as well.
Yeah,
that's
it's
a
really
nice.
nice.
Did you just call it Sparky?
I did call it Sparky.
Yeah. For a second, I thought you were referring to somebody named
you
Sparky.
already.
No,
That's all right.
I thought Sparky, he was referring to somebody who works in the underworld. I was like, Sparky, who's Sparky? What do they got?
He's just down there doing his thing.
It was just nice to be there, and you know, and there is a lot of money for Food Bank Day, and I was able to get, you know, the telethons where you get on the people on the phones.
Yeah.
I got to be in there and answer the phones, which was a lot of fun.
Talk to people.
I did,
That is
and then
fun.
steal their credit card numbers.
Yeah.
And later I'll be
shopping.
buying stuff.
Concert tickets,
that's right.
all that kind of stuff. And you're on your way up to Whistler for the Film Fest as well.
Yeah, I'm going to
Good
do
choice, man.
I'm excited about it. You know, when we first started our show, The Hour, Whistler was really good to us. During the Whistler Film Fest, we went and were able to broadcast from one of the restaurants there. And you know what? This is their 10th anniversary, and they'd asked us to come back, and I'm more than happy to. Plus, there's a film that I'm in. I have a small role in as a cameo. Hardcore Logo 2.
Oh, of course.
And so Bruce McDonald's film was screening there, so they said, would you do this interview with Bruce? And I'm like, yeah, I love
I forgot.
He's the
by
coolest
the
guy
by,
ever.
He's
You
great.
were in the hockey musical as well.
Score, yeah.
We both saw Score, the hockey musical.
No
and you're in there
singing.
doing
So is this the
play-by-play.
takeoff for an acting career for you?
Well, I started as an actor in theater, but I hated theater, right? Because theater's loud to the back of the room, whereas acting on screen can be a little bit more subtle. So, but in that instance, someone had said, hey, do you want to be in this musical? And I said, no, because I hate musicals. And,
hockey, yes.
Yeah, I love hockey, but I hate musicals. And so with the exception of like the Blues Brothers and Rocky Horror Picture Show, I'm not interested, right?
You're not a gleek, George?
No, I'm not a gleek. Even hearing that word drives me. So no.
I'm a gleek.
Hey, you're allowed to be a gleek. You know, Corey's from BC, you live here, you're fine, you can do that.
That's all right.
I like Corey. So I said, no, I don't really want to be in it. They said, you don't have to sing. And I said, what do you want me to be? And they said, just be the arena announcer. And I was like, all right. Then I found out who the director was, Mike McGowan, who had made 1 Week, which I really liked.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, sure, I'll do it.
Why not?
But no singing. You know, which is really
I kept
key.
waiting for him. We're watching it. I'm like, is he going to sing?
You know what happened? I forgot it was a musical on the premiere night, so I go to watch it, and I'm sitting there watching the movie, I'm like, okay, here we go. And then when the first song started, I went, what the hell are we doing? Oh, right, it's a musical. Right, yeah.
Well,
you can look
watch,
for it. I think it's coming out on DVD pretty soon as well, so you can check that out.
Thank you, George. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you as
pleasure,
well.
man.
Always
I
good
like
to be
your
with you.
style.
You can watch GST tonight.
Boo! George Tonight.
George Tonight.
Airs 11:05 weekdays on CBC, one of our favorite shows for sure. And tonight's show features another wonderful guy. Eric McCormick will be on the show, and he's just a treat.
And OK Go. We have OK Go.
You do?
And speaking,
I love them.
speaking of a hockey musical, so basically, let me tell you something. I haven't said this to anybody. So
whisper.
there was a massive power outage at CBC. A massive, like there's a transformer right next door, and there was the rain had come and they flooded it, so the entire building lost their power, and so you couldn't make any shows. And on that day, Eric McCormick was coming in, and OK Go were coming in. So we're going, we don't have any shows.
What do you do?
Well, okay, let's call this arena. And let's see if, because OK Go was going to they were going to shoot a Christmas song for us in this arena. We called Eric. Eric, will you come to an arena and do the interview in arena? Like, yeah. So it was our power outage special. It's like a snow day. And the entire episode, so Eric and I are between two paths, two ice rinks, and the whole show was shot on an ice rink.
That is awesome.
And
The show must go on.
The show must go on.
Tonight.
And it's because of a power outage, so we're airing it tonight.
So don't
love
miss it
that,
tonight.
man.
We're going to take a quick break, and when we return, he's a Vancouver Canuck.
His name is Alex Burrows.
Oh, I should put on a referee's jersey and just sit beside him.
Alex Burrows right after this.